Boruboyo, Aboye Boshishe. Greetings, everyone. I really appreciate you joining us today. And we're having a teaching today. Before the meeting, I would like to also show you some of the achievements we've been able to make so far. We'll call it progress. We've been talking about Okeorisha, the mountain that we are acquiring as a place where people can come together for whatever right they want to do, for meditation, for intercession, for reconnection with their ancestors. And so when we spoke of this mountain, um, some of our people came together. We joined hands together with their funds to be able to acquire this mountain. It's actually, it should be around 200 feet above the sea level. We can see the plane settle down there. We did some grading, a minor work on this mountain recently, pushed some stuff downward there. And the mountain is actually stretching towards that particular cliff over there where that tall tree is extending beyond this place, which I may not be able to go to because it's not yet cleared. And we have this particular top. This top is where we are going to be holding our New Year festival come July 3rd, 2021. And I am very hopeful that there will be a lot of achievement, or let me say progress, that will be made before the next year festival to mark the beginning of our new Alkebula year. We have so many places that is actually going to be beautified. This plateau down here, over there, actually belong to us also. And we're going to be making a step through which people can climb and hike from the side. A lot of development we are bringing. When we bought this mountain, we bought it because we don't want them to keep blasting it and selling it as granite or whatever it is that they make out of the rock here. This particular site has been mined for over 20 years, and we asked them to stop hurting the rock, the mountain, and so we took it over with millions upon millions of naira. Few of us, less than 50 of us came together to acquire it. Those other planes also, this plateau also belong to us. We also bought it for the purpose of preservation. You can see a lot of rock over it. And then in this particular mountain and around it, our people are settling, they are really settling down around the mountain for the topography beauty that it offers. And then for the fact that it is actually out of the outskirts of the town where you can actually have for yourself a peace of mind. Where the tractor is located down there, we are hoping one day, sometime soon, we're going to be erecting a free hospital for the people of this community in that particular spot there. It's going to be a wellness center, and whatever drug, medication, diagnosis they are going to be getting is going to be for free. And people can also come and do their meditation. Over 2 acres of land. It covers 2 acres of land. And from this place, you can actually see several aspects of the city called Ibadan. Now, I'm showing you this because What we are trying to do in the movement of Al Qaeda as Africans is to ensure that African people no longer go to Mecca for whatever pilgrimage, I don't know what they're looking for actually, not go to Jerusalem for whatever reason it may be. And we want to ensure that they are proud of their own root and ancestry. They'll be born in this era in the future will be able to trace their own route to this particular place and own it as either their hometown or the place where they came from because it belongs to all Africans. All right, apology for that. I think I went out of reach of network. I just kept talking actually. I didn't know I've been tickled off. So right there, let me show you. Right there, top over there, where you have a tree standing, that tree standing, we're going to be raising up our flag, our Kebulan, the spirit empire of the Orishas. And beyond, over that place, the land still covers a lot. And from there, you can see a whole part of this city called Ibadan. There is a beauty we're trying to achieve here. And the beauty is understanding how nature works as people and also respecting nature, giving it a chance to stay at its natural space. And there are things we're trying to achieve with the atmosphere we are creating around here. One of them is for people to connect directly without interruption with the universe as a whole and as people. So in the future, you'd have situation where people come here to escape the hustle and bustle of the world, home and abroad. And also that our children will be able to camp here for summer and all. The dream is quite sketchy for now because it is rough. But what we have been able to achieve as people, even though we are small in number, is something that even the government of some countries cannot. And so we are eager and quick to move to the next stage and face of ensuring that the mountain is useful for everyone. That being said, so far so good. Let us move on to the reason for today's broadcast. Dealing with persecution, having embraced African spirituality. We give kudos to our ancestors. We thank the universe for blessing us with their energies. We also bless nature itself for availing us this space to move from one place to another, to perfectly be in unison with the very source of our being. We give credit to both male, female, those who are listening to us right now, and those who will come after. Ashe. A lot of us, over the time, one of the things that has held us bound from truly exploring or embracing African spirituality is the persecution that comes thereafter. Not because we have not found out that this is the way to go, or we are on the path of light and truth, but because of what people will say. And truly, should you be concerned about it? Should it be your business, what people say? Should you allow it to bother you as a person? If we say that automatically you are not meant to be bothered about it, we will be lying to ourselves. You know what? Because we are all we've got. And you would not know the intensity of loneliness until you have no one to talk to, no one to relate to, no one to play with. Why? Because the continuity and the validity of any species of creature is in the interrelationship they build with people in their lives. The interrelationship they build with people in their life. And the strength of people, animals, or plants solely is dependent on how togetherness they are. So realize that it is easy for one lion to be killed because it is not found in the park. It is the disunity between the snakes that make them vulnerable and susceptible to untimely death. So for anyone, any people, anything to move forward speedily in life, there is a need for unity amongst them. And this very unity is what the religion of the invaders targeted when they came to the land of the black people. There is one aim and one method through which the religion of the invader is stealing and constantly stealing from Africans today, and that is through the perfect installation of disunity amongst Africans. the disunity through language, the disunity through ethnic, the disunity through political ideology, the disunity through demarcation of boundaries. It is okay for them to have United States of America and United Kingdom, but very, very unpracticable for there to be United Nations of African people. I want you to look at it very well. Africa is huge and vast. But the only way we can be feared again is when we come together. So while some part of the countries in Southwest or Western Africa are talking about, I want Biafra, I want Odudua, I want Arewa and all that, we are thinking about Pan-Africanism because the major division is bringing out the subdivision amongst us, which is causing a lot of tribal war, ethnicity, and so many things. So the language of the invader perpetrates disunity amongst us. Their religion, their ideology, as a matter of fact, even their mode of dressing, everything from the invaders is for the purpose of disunity. Because once people of same color, same race, same ancestors cannot agree and come to a reasonable point about a certain subject in their life, there is an allowance for their enemies to constantly profit from their sweat. So monkey will be walking, baboon will be shot, will be eating. This disunity, which has become the major catastrophe and catalytic element that constitute the major war and misunderstanding that we have in Africa today, has now trickled down into family settings. I travel across African countries a lot. And I was in a situation recently. I was in Ghana, and the driver was a Ghanaian. Someone was with me who is from Benin Republic. I'm from Nigeria. And we were talking. None of us could understand each other's mother tongue. So even our convergence is made possible through the license we got to speak in the language of our invaders. The one from Cotonou could not understand Yoruba. I can't understand what Egun. And then the guy from Ghana, we can't understand Twi language. This unity. Now, I was in a French-speaking African country recently, and save that I have an interpreter, I will be so clueless about what they do in that country. We are black people, all of us together, but we don't understand what we say to one another. Disunity. This disunity is so much that when the invaders and their descendants come to our countries, we spend little or no time cross-checking their luggages, making sure that their papers and documents are correct. But when one of us tries to cross into the border of another of us, we put all the old X-ray and everything called searchlight on each other. it becomes a woe to us as African people that we will need a visa to visit another African nation. If you ask who started that logic, it was the invader who taught one of us, our brothers, to request for us to get clearance before we can step from one part of the land of our ancestors to another part of the land of our ancestors. Disunity. This disunity also have gotten its hold in our spirituality. Because one will say, my own spirituality is better than the other. Yours is inferior to mine. While we are still all saying that it is still African spirituality. So some will use Greek mythology to interpret African spirituality. Some will use the Judaism to interpret it. Some will use Christianity. Some will use Islam to interpret it. Some even go as far as Asia to use Buddhism to interpret African spirituality. And when the real African spirituality or spiritualists speak, they are condemned. Why? Because majority always carry the vote whenever disunity is the order of the day. Ọ̀rọ̀ ìṣítí rèé, ẹ jẹ́ ká kọ́ra wa dáadáa. So, in a society where disunity has been weaponized, such that the first thing you look or you see when you see me as an African, your brother, your sister, is to suspect me, to scrutinize me, to maintain some level of distance from me. Any one of us who choose to go the other direction will surely face persecution. And this is not something limited to the society or community we find ourselves alone, but also in our family. So fathers are ready to curse their daughters, their sons, for choosing the way of their ancestors. Mothers are ready to disown children for choosing the way of their ancestors. And so a Christian parent will rather that a child embrace Islam than embrace African spirituality. A Muslim parent would rather find peace and comfort that their child ported from Islam to Christianity than embrace African spirituality. We will go anywhere but home. We will look for everything but ourselves. In such situation where that is the order of the day, persecution becomes the experience of every single one who have chosen to move away from the crowd and go the other way. And how do you deal with this? See, you should be happy when people come against you because you are true to yourself. Because it is better for you to die for what is true than for you to live for what is false. Every single one who work against you for being original will patronize you when you are no more. Nobody really find you attractive if you are a copy of another person. We would sing and say, in the days of our slavery, I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back, no turning back. My question is, since you have been following Jesus, have you moved from one level of spiritual growth beyond speaking a tongue and going to church to another? If you have decided to follow Jesus, do you think that if truly Jesus is leading you somewhere, you will still need the approval of your pastors, your bishops, your reverend, all of those people to assess the God of the sky that you are looking for? So I said, I think it's better for me to use Google Map than for me to use Jesus to find my way. The long story short is that I am now home. I'm in my destination. The day I said, Jesus, find your level, I will find my way home, I realized that I could get home earlier because Jesus is a lie. I always cite an example that if the sky God is so omniscient, who knows everything and can do all things, how is it that it took him 40 years to move people from Egypt to Palestine? Something they could have done within 40 days. So following such a thing, you have categorically told us that you yourself are not interested in getting to your destination. A lot of us today, we are facing what we call internal war and battle. And our only offense is that we choose to not lie to ourselves anymore. A lot of us. And I'm happy to tell you that this is the beginning of that persecution. You must be prepared to live a life where the only thing that engineer you to move to your direction is flying against the wind. If you have to be a moving train, you have to break through the wind. If you have to be a flying plane, you have to move against the wind. If you will be a successful boat or ship, you have to move against the current of the water. Your destination as a person lies solely in the fact that you are going against the status quo. The joy you have in your journey towards your destination should solely be founded on the fact that you will be stabbed in the back, you will be backbeaten, you will be gossiped about, you will be chased, you will face a lot of things we call heavy persecution, but you will get to your destination. So a lot of time people say, Baba Yooba, I'm scared of what my partner will say. Should I quit my marriage or relationship because of that? No, I'm not saying you should. Because I will not marry you if you go and quit because of African spirituality. My parents are this and that and all. Should I disobey them and do? I'm not saying that. I'm not going to house you. The blessing, the parental blessing that you need is not going to come from me. It's going to come from them. This is where application of wisdom is required. Because you as a person, you must already have calculated what you are up for. Remember I said the only sin you have committed is that you are speaking the truth to yourself. And sometimes some of you are gifted with wisdom to be able to not only speak the truth to yourself, but also to the authority. Authority could be the government, the local government, the community chiefs, even your spouse, your parents, and all. But in doing this, there must not be any form of violence, especially crime against humanity and its continuous existence in your method. Your only solace should be in the fact that you finally found yourself. I get a lot of inquiries daily. People in their 70s, people in their 80s. Okay, I listened to your video. I've always had this conviction all my life, but I was too scared to the teeth to embrace it. But now I am filled with regret because my days are about to be over and I have not lived a single one of it in truth. I don't think that should be your portion. If you are careful enough, you realize that it is not because your parents do not know the truth. As a matter of fact, some of them practice African spirituality low key, but they are scared of the kind of life you will live the moment you get the truth. So they would rather use religion to their own advantage to keep suppressing you, taming you like an animal, and blackmailing you emotionally. Some of you have spouses and husbands who move from one diviner to another diviner. But the day they get to know that you also embrace that way of life, problems start. Why? Because maybe their ways are not pure, and maybe because they are jealous of the freedom you are about to enter into when you also find your way. Many of your pastors, they are merely distracted. They know the truth. The truth has set them free, but they use their freedom to hold you back. So, how much do you handle this? Number one, you must come to reality with that fact that there will be persecution. Embracing African spirituality in a society and continent that is predominantly filled with the mentality of the invaders, where people now wage war against their own skin, their self, their ancestors, their land. You must be really. Only mad people embrace African spirituality. And if you have enough balls to embrace this way of life, then you count yourself as one of the people who came before their time. Because some of you actually are here before your time. You should be existing in the age of the Aquarius. A lot of people in the age of the Pisces do not know how special that they are to have graced this age of the Pisces and still live as an Aquarius person. Because the age of the Pisces is the age where you are giving fishes to eat, no question. The age of the Aquarius is when you query things. You are the foot soldier and the crusader for the people who will erupt in the next phase and dispensation. Somebody said, I woke up today that was a transmission break. I apologize. So the person was saying that if I want go to erupt in the next phase of life, then I will be erupting into a world that I have created in my past life. So why don't I just create something that is going to be soothing for myself? We have one earth, and if mankind are going to live, they will live on earth. So if the mankind dies, mankind comes. Why can't mankind create the experience they are hoping for, be the master of their future reality. To do that, you must know that you are facing a war of zoning. The war of zoning. What do I mean by the war of zoning? You see, this humankind, the congress of the humankind we have now, are people who are eager. They are eager to discover a new thing, never interested to make what they have found already better. It's happening now right before our eyes. People want to move to Mars, having destroyed the Earth. Which one is better? To use the trillions upon trillions of money that is invested in moving to Mars to make the Earth better and livable for all species and ensure their continuity, or to make sure that this plane is destroyed so that we can explore another. So when it comes to zoning, you realize that people who believe in heaven, okay, some are saying they can't hear me. Is it happening to everybody? I try not to get distracted when I'm teaching. Everybody cannot hear me. Can some hear me? Okay, that must be the network issue. All right. People use the analogy of their belief in heaven. If I'm not audible, then there's no need for this broadcast. Maybe we should just quit it here. We can revisit the topic some other time. That's network. That's network. Let's revisit the topic some other time. Is that okay? That's network. There's nothing I can do about it. All right, so is it still the same thing? All right. So we bring it to an end. We visit it some other time. Thank you. Thank you for joining.